it's time for us to move to one of the most beautiful spaces, the most beautiful space that we've seen, and with an amazing atmosphere. And I'm giving the mic to you, Pauline.
Yeah, thank you. So last talk of the day, we are going to make our way to Mumbai in India to hear from Marlies, the founder of Ministry of New, and she's also creative director. For the record, Ministry of New has been elected second most beautiful co-working space in the world by Forbes. And it really, as Dimitar said, and I just will show you one picture before Marlies come in, the space is absolutely beautiful. And the story is also beautiful. So I'm really happy that we have Marlies with us. Let's invite her in. Hi.
Hey, Pauline, so good seeing you.
Yes.
I hear you have a cold or something.
Yes, I think so I went to a fair for a few days and I think I came back with the flu. So yeah, that's not nice, but I'm handling quite good since now, so I'm quite happy. And I'm very excited to have you here. We've been very big fans of your work. So I'm really happy for people to be able also today to meet you and to witness what you're doing. Can we maybe start with a short introduction? Who are you, Marlies?
Well, originally I'm a Dutch citizen. I'm from the Netherlands, and I moved here about 15 years ago. And my grandparents were here before. My parents, my dad used to work here, and there was always this link with India. And for me, it was a kind of normal thing to move to Bombay. For my family, it was also normal, as if I would move to Amsterdam or to Paris or something. Anyway, I moved here around 15 years ago with the intention of explore the amazing Indian craftsmanship and get into product design. My background is graphic design, but I got really tired of it and I didn't want to work behind my laptop every day. But then anyway, Condé Nast just moved to India as well with Vogue and Architectural Digest, and they wrote me in as a freelance art director. And it just felt so familiar, so it was so easy. But I always thought oh no, this is not what I wanted to do. This was not the intention. Anyway, I started my own studio at the same time, a little design studio, an old warehouse, which I did up, and it became a kind of creative hub. And I did some events, but the rents are super high in Bombay, like in New York or something. And I thought, let me share it with other creatives, and I call it a collaborative creative space. And that happened, and we did some fun events and stuff. And then only I heard about this thing happening around the globe called Coworking, and I was like, ding, this is actually what I'm doing. I didn't know about it. So it was a very organic way to, start a co-working space. I never planned it or anything. It just happened. And this location, what you're seeing now, of course, is a different location than where I started. Here I moved 6-7 years ago. And it was really great that you guys came to visit at some point. And I remember also taking the pictures and doing the talk, of course, during co-working day, I think it was even. So really nice to reconnect with you guys also.
Yeah, we are. As I said, we've been big fans of Ministry of New, and everywhere we go, we always bring up the story of your space because you're also part of our book. So we always use your space as an example for interior design and the story it creates. So one of the questions I had for you, because you said you started in another space, what pushed you to move from that other space to the one you're currently in?
Well, that was much smaller, and also the landlords of that space saw what I did with it. So I made it really nice at a super low budget, and he kicked me out basically because he wanted to have it for himself or rent it out at 4 times the price. So he suddenly put a lock on it, and it's India in that sense sometimes.
Oh wow, okay.
But it's just it happens, and then you move on, and then I found. Kind of coincidence, I found this place, and it was suddenly okay, I could totally envision the whole thing, and it was oh, this is made for it. And so lucky in that sense.
What's the story of this building? What was it before you took it over?
Oh, it was actually what's it called again? The CBI. I think it was the Central Bureau of Investigation, like a CIA of India.
Oh wow! Okay.
It was not a very positive place in that sense because it kept all the criminals. And I don't know what actually happened here, but maybe we don't want to know. I made it definitely into a much more positive place with much better energy. That's for sure. Yeah. And it was a date,
I'm sorry.
obviously. Yeah.
And you've been, Ministry of New has been elected second most beautiful co-working space in the world by Forbes, which is a really nice and deserved
That is
name.
already a few years ago.
Yeah, and how did it all happen actually?
I told also my team, because they keep mentioning it also to potential new members and stuff. I'm like, dudes, this wasn't, this was already 5 years ago. We cannot keep using that. But of course, it was amazing, yeah. Obviously.
And how did they scout you? Do you remember? How did they approach you?
Well, actually, all kudos to Coworker, the platform, because that's what was her name? Leanne Beasley, who was the founder of Coworker. She got in touch with me, I think, and she was very supportive. And they really, I mean, we had, of course, beautiful pictures, so they used it on their homepage and everything. I don't know, we had a really nice relationship in that sense. And I think she pitched us to Forbes, and then suddenly it came out. I think it was the first year of this new location, and yeah, it was like massive. Of course, it was really, really cool, and yeah, I'm still very proud of it, obviously. And for the team, it was also an amazing boost. And we of course, it was a recognition in the sense that we knew we were on the right track, I guess. Yeah. And especially since we are like such a small place, right? Only one place in Bombay, not like a big corporate one or something. Yeah.
And does it keep bringing some awareness, this labelization, or the fact that you got elected?
Well, you're using it again, so I guess so. Yeah. No, it keeps popping up. Of course, yeah, Google has its ways also. And yeah, it's great. I mean, fantastic if you can get that kind of publicity for free, right? I mean, a lot of publicity these days you have to pay for it, which we really don't do. Yeah, it's a true recognition, like not a small one, but a real, from specialists. So it's amazing. Yeah, still. Thank you.
I'm just showing a few pictures now of Ministry of New. I would love for you to talk to us about the renovation process of the space and also the interior design idea behind it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's funny. So you're showing the Blue Library, which again also got a lot of attention online, and it's a very photogenic place. But I can give you a scoop, because last week we changed the blue color into a pink color.
What?
Yeah.
So have to come back again.
And it's really fun because it was Diwali this week, or last week. So a lot of members were not there, and only a few people. We kept the doors closed, and the painters did their work, and it was quite shocking for myself also. But yeah, also the upholstery and everything, all the furniture reupholstered by a partner, actually, an interior shop in town, who came to us to do this for us, which is amazing. But it's a completely new look now. So yeah, I'm still thinking of, I have to put it online and everything, and I have to come with a strategy maybe to tell people, like, actually it's now a pink library. I'm thinking of some events with rosé and pink gin and cinnamon rose, I don't know, desserts, or I don't know, that's all coming up. And I asked the members also to wear pink clothes already. But anyway, the space itself, I mean, the whole idea was creating a calming professional oasis in this. I mean, the city is extremely busy, as you might know. And of course, that would be a great space to work. But then I think most important was like to create a place like home, like a second home, which is very needed for people like me at that time, migrating to the city and find a place of, where they can relax and where they can start building a solid network, connect with local people, and yeah, make friends for life, right? We play football together, we have lunch together, and all these things. So we always talk about community, and it's definitely important. It's most of all a place of like belonging, I guess. I think as co-working spaces, as owners or founders, we have a very important role to play in this world. I think as with lots of things happening at the moment, and bringing people together from all ways of life, and people have conversations, have a chance to have conversations, not online but offline, and create a space of belonging, because belonging is, I think, a superpower. People get more courageous and do better work and be more creative, I think, when we find our people, our tribe, or our community. So I think it's a very important role for us as co-working space founders or designers. So that's the main thing. That's what I always kept in mind when I was creating the space also. And that was the central idea for sure. So create spaces where people can meet spontaneously, do some events, of course, but create all different corners where people can find a place where they feel at home, and you cannot avoid each other in a way. You have to say good morning, or at least show a smile when you meet each other around the courtyards. That was the intention.
Because also the space has different areas, right? Can you talk to us about the different areas you offer to members?
Yeah, so it's like an 8,000 square feet space, and it's one floor, which really helps. And it's the center is a courtyard, which you see in this picture. So lots of daylight. And the other spaces is like the gallery is like a 3,500 square feet of workspace for the freelancers and independent people. They can sit anywhere they want. They have different tables and corners, and depends what kind of privacy you're looking for. It's the quiet space. And then we have a beautiful library, which is now pink. I was about to say the blue library, but it's pink. Which is like our living room. This is where we every month do our breakfast club, like a potluck with all our members bringing food in, which is really, really fun. And lots of events, and also people can work there. Then there's a cafe next to the library where we have fresh food. We have an amazing chef. Nothing fancy, but just good food. And we always ask members if they have ideas for new recipes or stuff. It's really their space. It's very much a home in that sense. And the courtyard is, what I said, like it's a central point where everybody walks up and down from the library to the gallery, to their office, to their bathroom, whatever. And you cannot avoid each other. So you look into, each other's eyes. I mean, like it's, that's the nice thing, I think. Everybody gets to know each other. We really support that.
And where did you find the inspiration, or where did you source inspiration? Because every time I go to Ministry of New, I mean, we've been there twice, I always see different details. And I'm always wondering, how did you do it? Where did you source all those little elements that makes the space so beautiful?
Well, a lot of things come from my home or from local bazaars. When I created the space and designed it, there was nothing like an IKEA or something. So everything is made, customized by carpenters, local people who were working in our space. So at some point, I think there were like 200 carpenters working in the space or something, and painters and welders, and everything quite, very simple, like with hardly, very basic tools and everything. So I had to be creative also in that sense, but it works. It's also a different way of working, but I really like it because it's a very honest way to do it like that, and I could really follow my vision in that sense and really put everything in place. But when I saw it for the first time anyway, I could envision the whole thing. I could, smell it almost and see the people using it, and so it was an easy process in that sense that I really knew what I wanted and what I wanted to create. I hardly needed drawings in that sense. Yeah, and everything is everything we can move. So only the bookshelf and the bar is fixed, and the bathroom, of course. But the rest, all the furniture is easy to move. So for events and shoots and stuff, we can move things out and in, and create different spaces.
And one of the things we've been talking about a lot today during this event was about designing it, understanding your end users. Who are your end users, and how did you go along to understand what they needed?
Yeah, so at the initial space, my original space was a studio more for creatives, but then the new place, which opened now 7 years ago, this current space, it's very mixed, so which is fantastic, because creative people, they need people who help them with their finance, for example, and financial people, they need creative people. Or I don't know, there's lawyers, there's journalists, there's lots of writers, architects, everyone we have in the space, and we really actively connect everyone. So whoever has a question or needs someone to help them with something, it's a true co-working what's happening here. And I think we're actually the only one doing this in India, to be honest. We have a lot of WeWork clones. copies of WeWork and WeWork itself, of course, which is all beautiful and fantastic amenities and fancy and stuff. But our space is really about the people and the people using it. It's mostly local people or people who have, for example, Indian people who have studied abroad or worked abroad and coming back to their city for whatever reason. And they love it, of course, because it has some global metropolitan feel to it. So they feel much at home. Everybody feels at home, basically. It's not a specific design, I think. It's like not Dutch, it's not Indian, it's very, mixed, and everybody can feel at home.
And if you were to design the next Ministry of New, what would you do maybe a bit differently?
Not so much. I mean, I was very lucky with the space, which is like an old heritage building with the high ceilings and the daylight. But since it's really hard to find good space in India or cities like this, I looked at a different area in Bombay called Bandra. For years I've been looking. And at some point I thought even a basement almost, or a dark space I could work with. I don't know. Just that would be my ultimate challenge. So the opposite of this building. And I think still you can create a Ministry of New because it's really about the people. So, work around it. It doesn't matter how it looks, but create something clean, obviously, and spacious. But I think you can work around it. Everybody was always saying oh, you should get one of these old bungalows somewhere or old heritage buildings somewhere else. I'm I don't know, because I don't want the ministry to be just about the looks. We call it also, one of our hashtags is actually not just a pretty space. I really want it to be about people you meet and not just the design interior.
Yeah, and I feel that, I mean, when we came to visit you, we saw so many different people. I remember we spoke with some journalists, and there was so much going on every time we came around. I was like, wow, it's amazing, because of course the primary purpose of the space is to be a co-working space. But when we were with you guys twice, we saw many events happening. I remember you had an exhibition with what was it? How you work?
Yes. Yeah, I still have it. It's fantastic. Yeah, I love it still. So we created a cubicle, like an old office cubicle, and I spray painted it in a gray, boring color with an old computer and an old phone, and I don't know, a clock and everything, and like a most boring cubicle you can imagine, and that we made into a photo booth set, and all the members or visitors could take pictures there. It was a massive hit. That was hilarious. Yeah,
we still have that picture, and I really love it because every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's such a nice memory.
Yeah, a lot of people still have it as their profile pic or something.
That's funny.
And actually, the setup I kept as it's like an artwork now. It became a kind of artwork, and it's like in the courtyard. We keep it, and then people still take pictures there. Yeah, it was fun. It was a challenge. The whole conversation, anyway. No, like what is an ideal workspace?
Yeah.
So that's not a cubicle. This is the opposite what they're doing. That was the idea. But you were there with Coworking Day.
Yes, also. Yeah.
We really did a lot of events those days. Yeah, amazing.
And have you seen a change post-pandemic in the way people come to the space and use the space that you designed initially?
Yeah, of course. I think more people took flexible memberships. So we have that like 5 days a month or 10 days a month or 100 hours, or instead of the dedicated spots. So we did definitely had a change there, but anyway, we didn't change our membership packages, so it doesn't matter so much. And still events, we do less events, I think, than before, but it's definitely happening. I mean, we still once a week at least we do some events, it's still very happening, and it's nice now, especially our older members from the start. They get very active in organizing things as well. So I leave it to them, it's also their space. And if they have an idea for an event, to tell them like, okay, yeah, sure, do it. And I'll do with the logistics and everything, but you guys take it ahead, which is also for me, of course, because it's less work for me, but it's also like a very, real, very ministry, I guess. Yeah, very community.
And I have one last question for you, which is, we have people watching now who are in the process of designing their space and thinking about, interior design for their end users. what would be some of your advices for them to help them in the process?
Well, it's great if you, I mean, we were very lucky that we had this big 8,000 square feet floor, right? One floor, not several floors above each other. That's a huge plus, I think, in the sense that people constantly meet each other and cannot avoid each other in a way. There's no lifts and all these things. Then like a open space in the sense that the flexibility, like we have, like all our furniture we can move around, which is very helpful. And then also different spots, not all the same tables and desks, because everybody is different in that sense. And we also made sure that our AC is not strong everywhere. So a lot of people don't like AC, or they don't like it too cold, especially women. And so that every spot has a different kind of temperature almost. And the courtyard doesn't have AC and just fans. And now the library, we also opened it, the whole balcony, because the cool season has started. So yeah, people really like it. That it's not like a typical old cold office like you have most of them are doing that here. Yeah, and that flexibility for sure. And then we also kept in mind we have high ceilings, and that flexibility of furniture we can move around. We can do a lot of shoots and rent it out for events in the weekend, which is a great additional income. Obviously, it's like half of our revenue is coming from there. So especially with of course, the lockdowns and everything, that's kind of saved our business in the sense that we could pivot and yeah, get some income there.
Yeah, I feel flexibility is so important, whichever the size of your co-working space. And as you said, also the fact that you can monetize it throughout the whole week, be it for work events. Do you also do like private events at Ministry of Youth?
Yeah, lots of it. Yeah, lots of private events. Not like, I mean, we did some wedding parties. Weddings are really big in India, obviously.
Yeah.
But if they're not too big, we did some, intimate wedding events. But yeah, people do rent it often, like consulates or British Council or these kind of parties, or universities.
Oh, I think we lost you.
Companies, lots of NGOs. Lots of NGOs are using it. Yeah. So sometimes it's members events, sometimes it's public open events, free events, paid events, or corporate, or yeah, anything.
Nice. I mean, I would really invite everyone to visit Ministry of New if they can when they are in Mumbai. Pay a visit to you and attend some of your events, and if not, subscribe to your newsletter, follow you on social media so they can get a feeling.
To that.
Okay, well.
Look, I became a little in that sense. I think like, oh yeah, newsletter. Oh yeah, shit, I still have to write it. Like, I know. Yeah, it's just priorities sometimes.
Well,
but
at
yeah,
least Instagram.
People can definitely sign up for it anyway. And yeah, follow us on Instagram. That's the best to keep up to date. And see our pink library very soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Now I'm excited. I really want to see it.
I know a lot of people think it's a joke or something, but no, we're going to show it. We're going to show it today or tomorrow.
Is it a strong pink or it's light pink?
Well, it's like an old pink. It's like it's called cinnamon rose.
Oh wow, so nice.
A little bit like a Jaipur color.
Okay.
It's a very Indian color. Yeah.
Nice.
Good change. Actually, the ceiling came down, or a part of the plaster came down, so that was the reason. Like, okay, why keep it blue? Why not? Then we just do something new. We're a Ministry of New, right? So
yeah,
we have to sometimes take a chance.
Nice. I want to bring back Dimitar, so he can maybe also say a few words before we wrap things up.
Hey, Marley, thank you so much for this interview. I have really good memories visiting the space and doing that event there. It was funny that we met even like some friends that came to the event that then moved back to Berlin. It was very interesting, and I still remember.
Yeah.
But I just want to pinpoint to people who are watching the importance of interior design. And I would say something that we constantly mention, that when you enter a co-working space, you can see the founder, and I can see you very much in the space, and the covers, the arrangements, and people can also like the way that the interactions go into a community. Sometimes when we go to a space and people start saying hi to us, and then we meet the founder, they're also like very lively and very approachable, and this is reflected in the space. And the second thing I'm going to mention is how important is interior designs to support your members to not only work in a good environment, but also to attract other people to that space. So you give even more opportunities to your members to network, to create with others, to meet, and just extend their presence. And when you work in a space like that and you invite someone, immediately the value of you as a professional is enlarged, and it's reflecting, because like the people are kind of amazed by the space, by the colors, by just the atmosphere, and it reflects on how you also perceive the other people who are working in that space. So yeah, amazing space. I would love to visit you guys more, and maybe someday like even come and work for a week or a month. And
welcome anytime. More than welcome. Yeah.
I wish so much to resume
Especially
our travels
winter.
to Asia.
Winter is
Yes.
coming in Berlin. I think it's time to come to Asia.
Yes. Exactly.
It is. Marlies, thank you so much. We will be adding a link to your LinkedIn, but also links to Ministry of New on the event recap, so people can connect with you if they have more questions or if they wish to know more. But it was so nice to have you, and I'm really happy we made it happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much again. I mean, always nice to reconnect with you guys. And yeah, all the best, and get well soon.
Thank you so much. I will, and I wish you a great rest of the day. Bye, Marlies.
Bye.
All right. I think it's time for wrapping up the session. It's been 2 hours and 31 minutes that we've been discussing interior design in co-working spaces. It's been a real pleasure, guys, to put this session for you. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you learned some things or a lot. Your feedbacks are always welcome. So if you have any ideas on how we can make those sessions better in the format or in the way we interview people, shoot out an email. You will be receiving a survey after the event through Eventbrite. So please let us know what we can do better. You will also receive, as I said, a recap of everything we've been discussing, which might take a little bit more time than today, but bear with us, it will be coming. Few things also I want to remind you. If you wish to discover our book, this is the URL you can use to discover the project and what's inside more concretely. Also, if you wish to join the club, the thing we told you about at the beginning, this members club around the book, this is the URL you can use to discover some of the articles we've been releasing lately, because we are doing those events every month around the club where we are exploring different things. And drum roll, in November, we will be exploring wellness and well-being in co-working spaces through an online event like this one. And of course, all of you guys are invited. That's it from my side. Again, I'm sorry I've been a little bit sick and I've been coughing all around. I promise I'll get better. I'll go get a tea. Thank you so much, guys. Dimitar, I'll let you have the last word before we wrap things up.
Yeah, a big thank you for me also that people joined us and a few asked questions. If you want to connect with us more, just please join our Discord, where we can slowly build a community of people who can talk about those topics, ask advices, connect with each other, and just network with people from this industry and beyond. We are planning to do a lot of events on this site, and we have a lot of ideas, and we cannot show or talk about everything that happened, for example, at Orgatect in 2.5 hours, but please connect with us and ask us questions, and we can just continue the discussion and even connect you to relevant people that might help you in your journey. So thank you so much from me also, and see you next time.
See you guys.